All right, gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely. How in the world are we today? Let's see, let's get ready. Yeah, old Rooney just had to pop right in and make his presence known. He was sniffing around to see what kind of goodies I might have dropped from my desk. Oh, let's see, stream looks good. That looks good. Okay. Who we got here today? Let's see. Paul D is here. GB, I'm assuming means Great Britain. And Frank is here. And Matthew is here. Thank you, Matthew. Mark is here. Hey, Mark. Deno. All right. Rudy. Martin K. Thank you, Martin. Martin Stuckey. Good deal. Mike and Dave and Kent and Tommy and David and Leonard, and Giles, and 180, and John L, and 422. 422 and Martin are here at the same time? That's interesting. And is it Spienta? S-P-I-E-N-T-A. Help me out with that one. Jan is here, Prashana's here, Sasha's here, TC's here. Who did I miss? Tommy Willis? Did I get Tommy? My chat just reorganized itself, and suddenly people started moving around in it. I don't know why Chatwing does that. Luxembourg. All right, Mark. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you. Delighted to have you. Who else just slipped in? Somebody slipped in because I know it incremented one. But Indrid. Indrek. I think I have it. Help me if I don't. Full screen is unavailable right now. You know, that happened last week too, Tommy. I'm using the embed from YouTube, and I think if you want to do full screen, just click the YouTube button down there, and that will take you to the YouTube page, and then you can make it go full screen. And then you can do the chat, bring the chat in, and just kind of lay it off to the side. Indrek is from Estonia. Welcome. Glad to have you here. It's a treat for me to have you with us today. All right. Let's see. Who else? Trying to keep up as you guys come in, but the list doesn't go in any kind of order that I've been able to figure out. Who was talking about Chatwing just a minute ago? Let's see. Tommy got his mouse pad. That's good. Chatwing. Oh, Spienda. Yeah, Chatwing is good. You know, they're like anything else. They've got a couple of things that could be improved upon, but that's okay. Am I running 30 or 60 frames per second? I am running 30. Well, actually, the machine is, I couldn't run 30 frames per second. But yeah, 30 frames per second is what we're sending. And that's, you know, here in the U.S., all our lights, all our electricity is based on a 60 cycles. Is it 60 cycles a second or something like that? So I think overseas, you guys are on maybe 50 cycles. And that's why it has to be different. But it's smooth. Okay, good. You watching on YouTube or are you watching on Facebook? Now, I'll tell you, the Facebook is okay, but I don't think it has the quality and the depth of color that the YouTube has. And that's just because YouTube's been doing it longer. You need to allow full screen to be, oh, is that it? Okay, well, let's see if we can change that right now. It won't take but a second, I don't think, because I have done it, and I forgot I have to do it every time. You know, for some reason I can't, it used to be I had the embed code from YouTube, and it worked every week, and then it stopped working every week, and it started playing the previous show, which I guess is okay, but it's not what I intended, but I guess, you know, some people have enjoyed it. let's see, let's go to the text portion and ba-dum-bum-bum. We're going to do the embed code. I mean the allow full screen. Okay. Allow full screen. That's going to go there. I think that'll do it. Let's see. I'm going to preview it here on my end before I post it to you guys. And let's mute that. That's good. No, that didn't do it. What do I need to do? Bum. Mike, what is the syntax for that? Because that's not it. Allow full screen. Yeah, I got that. Okay. Rudy's got it. Allow full screen. Okay. I think I got it. So we'll just do it right there. Let's see if that does it. And let me preview it again. And that did it. Okay. Whoa, I'm way too big. You really don't want to see me that big. Oh, good. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Mike. So just refresh your browser, and it should do the YouTube thing okay. And I'll try to remember to get that for next time, too. All right, Tommy's here. Welcome, Tommy. And big thanks to Rudy. And Lord Venom. All right, getting ready for Halloween. Who else slipped in? RJ's here. Boy, RJ gave me the greatest opportunity last week, and I couldn't take advantage of it. He invited me to come over and watch him do a one-man American football game where he ran like 12 cameras. It was going to be amazing, but I missed it. Sorry, RJ. I'm such a weenie. Let's see, who else has popped in? Guest 699. Welcome, 699. Okay. All right. Full screen should be working for everybody then now. All you have to do is refresh the page. That's right. Thank you, Mike. Good deal. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, or you're watching us on Facebook right now, the show's supposed to start right now. Anyway, if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Watch Now button, and then you get this chat during the rest of the show. When we start the show in just a minute, the chat's going to go away. I mean, I'll see it, and if you're at easternshorebroadcasting.com, you'll see it. And also, come on in and chat. This is a good bunch of guys. Oh, Lord Venom is saying that we should have pre-show treats. Oh, my goodness. Well, we have post-show treats. The last person to show up in chat has to bring the post-show treats. But I haven't thought about pre-show treats. It could be kind of like an hors d'oeuvre. We'll have to work on that one a little bit. It's an idea that's not fully functional. Tommy's watching on Roku. I didn't even know I was on Roku, Tommy. Oh, you say it's YouTube. Got it. All right. Very good. Okay. Guido Hochstetter, welcome. See you there. The future of television is Roku. Do you guys really think so? Let me have a show of hands. Should I get a Roku channel? Need a show of hands on a Roku channel. Wayne is here. Welcome, Wayne. Glad to have you. Dave's watching on Roku. Gavin's here. Welcome, Gavin. All right. We've got an IS from Giles, a yes from Dave. TC, what about the dog leg? I'm not sure of that. Tommy says the future is OTT. TC says yes. Tommy Willis says, I don't have Roku. Tommy, I don't either. But, you know, who was I talking to? I was talking to a church the other day that they went and bought Roku boxes for their members that could not come to church because they deemed them not technologically astute enough to navigate their computer to it. So they went into the house, they set up the Roku so that when the folks, because they were bedridden or wheelchair bound or whatever it was, and they couldn't get out of the house. And so they just put it in their houses so they could not feel so left out. I think that's great. Tommy says, yes, get a channel. All right. Giles says, not even sure if Roku is available here. Stick to YouTube. Oh, definitely would do both. Frank says yes. Lord Venom says, vote early and vote often. You know, my grandfather was a Republican all his life, and he voted Republican up until the day he died. And since then, he's been voting Democrat. I had to get that one out of the way. I'm sorry. Oh, boy. It was Dave that did that. Okay, Dave, there you go. Thank you. I knew I'd heard that story from somebody reliable. Okay. So if you have questions about that, get with Dave. And Mike heard it from Dave already. So let's see. Let's do one last check here. Again, looks like we got folks that are watching on YouTube that are not here at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Whoops, where it is down there. The chat is going to go away momentarily just because I need the full screen to do the show. Giles, that Dave says Roku is available in the UK. All right. So we are way over time, so we need to get geared up for a show. And let's see, have we got that show thing ready? Yeah, we got that ready. Okay, good deal. Mike says, just have everyone use the YouTube function in Roku to go to the live feed. There you go. Giles says he likes this Chromecast. Well, that's the thing, and I don't want to steal all my own thunder. But, you know, is it still available down under? Ooh, good question, TC. Somebody here will be able to answer that. You want to, if you're doing a show, I think you want to be where people are. This is a streaming show, and so my first choice was YouTube because that's where people are. But I also want to direct people back to my website because I want to, I want you guys to engage with me some more. So anyway, we'll talk more about that another time, not this time. Bingo. So let's see. All right, so let's get this show on the road. I'm sorry for all the jibber jabber. Let's see. Does WikiLeaks use vMix? Not to my knowledge. But if they're listening, come talk to me. We'll work you out a deal if you're from WikiLeaks. All right, we're going to fade to black, and I'm going to drop my mic, and we'll be right back. Hello, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. How do you know? Well, because it says Streaming Idiots right down there below my name. That's how I know who I am. No, I'm sorry. Really I'm kind of juiced today because it's going to be a really fun show. A lot of cool stuff going on in the world of live streaming. Just just a lot of stuff going on. vMix has come out with a new beta, vMix 18, which came out right before the show last week. And I said, yes, let's go. Let's install it. And then it crashed. And then they put out an update, but it was too late. I was back to 17 for last week's show. So we are actually doing this week's show with the beta version. And we're doing it on 2 PCs. You can see the laptop over here over my right shoulder. Thank you, Russell. Russell's telling me I'm 6 minutes late starting the show. So if you're watching live, you know it. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, I'm right on time. Okay, so vMix version 18, that's come out. We're actually going to talk with Martin Sinclair about that in just a few minutes. We want to welcome a new show. I think we talked about it a little bit before, and we'll bring them in on that. And but before we go, I want to start out the show and thank. I want to thank some folks from YouTube because this show is broadcast live on YouTube. The live show is archived with the pre-show and the post-show, and then we also upload just the show as a second video later. The show upload is 1080p. What you're watching us now live is 720p. And then, of course, the archived version is just 720p. So if you want to see me in 1080, go ahead and go for that. But I do want to thank these are our subscribers since last week: Captain John C.A., Samuel, Andre, Drew, Fernando, Media Show Brazil, Brett, Madman Media. Are We Live? I love that as a name for your YouTube show. Farley, the Golden Red Pilot, Kun Lee, I hope I pronounced that correctly, O'Neill, MRV Media, Junior, Video Creole, and Jeremy. So thank you guys for subscribing. I think we are like maybe 5 people away from hitting 2,500 on our subscription, our Eastern Shore Broadcasting YouTube page. So if you haven't subscribed, you can pop us over the top to 2,500. Also, while you're thinking about it, you might subscribe to the vMix YouTube page. They are just a fraction away from 5,000 subscribers, so you could help them out there too. The nice thing about subscribing is, number one, you'll get a notice when we've uploaded a new video. Heck, you may even get a notice when we're live. I'm not sure. I'd love to find that. If somebody in the chat room knows, they can help me out. Welcome to the Knoxville Church of God. Just tuned in here. And just trying to capture all these thoughts and put them in another place. Oh, I know too. If you are in the streaming business, and I say we, I'll tell you about who we is in just a second. We are putting together a what would you call it? A list, a group, a resource where people that are looking for people to do streaming for them can go and say, okay, here's somebody in Plano, Texas, which is close enough to where we are that we can have somebody come in. Here's somebody that's in New York. This is somebody I can use. So we like to get all of you that are doing live streaming, doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, and kind of get you in with us in a database. That's what we'll call it, a database. And Dave and I have been working on this for a little while. He's put up a kind of a test website. And, Dave, I didn't think to bring that with me, but if you want to post it in chat, I'll mention it over the air so folks that are watching on YouTube, and I'll put it in the show notes too. The idea is that people out there that are interested in live streaming but don't know how to do it or don't want to know how to do it but want it done for them can know who to go to. And so, I'm sure there are probably other lists out here, so we're going to start our own, and it'll be some sort of professional live streamers or something like that. We'll probably go with a more serious name than a less serious name, just because. vMix 18, well, I don't really know whether this is vMix 18 or vMix 17, but it must be vMix 17. It must be in vMix 17. Anyway, the guys at vMix have just threw out a tutorial this past week about how that vMix will now stream to Periscope and Twitter. Oh, you didn't know Periscope and Twitter were now doing, well, you knew Periscope was doing live video. And you knew Twitter was because they did the NFL football games. But now using vMix, you can stream to both of those. And let me bring the vMix guys in for this. And basically, all I've done is I went out to YouTube, got the URL for the YouTube video on this, and I put it into my web browser function in vMix, which allows me to control YouTube, but within vMix. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to bring that in right now. And you're going to see the play button in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm just going to hit play, and away they go.
Hi everyone. Today in this video we're going to look at how you can stream to Periscope and Twitter using Periscope Producer. Periscope Producer allows you to stream using your own encoder instead of using just your phone app. This means that you're able to create professional productions and then send them out directly to Periscope and Twitter, and it also gives you the ability to use Periscope as another delivery option for your stream. For instance, you could stream to a CDN, YouTube, and now Periscope at the same time. At the moment, you'll need approval from Periscope to use Periscope Producer. There's a link in the description on how to sign up. This might change in the future, we're not quite sure. Sometimes with these things you need approval to begin with, and then they open up for everyone later. When going through the sign-up process, please remember to include vMix as your encoder. Now, once you've been approved, you'll be able to go to your Periscope settings and select Advanced Sources. Currently, this feature is only available on iPhone and iPad, but I think they're working on the Android app at the moment. By the time you're watching this, it may already be available. Now, on your Advanced Sources screen, you'll see Source Connection Info. This will display a primary server and a stream name. You just need to copy down this information into your vMix production. The easiest way to do this is probably just to grab your phone or your tablet and then take that over to your vMix workstation and copy it in. Now once you have this information, head back to vMix and go to your streaming settings. Then go to Custom RTMP Server from the drop-down and enter the URL and the stream name into the fields. Once done, you'll just need to edit the quality settings to line up with the Periscope recommendations. Now when you received your email from Periscope, it will have a link in there telling you what you'll need to use to set up your stream. We've also included the link in the description. Basically the recommended settings are 960 by 540 at 800 kilobytes. So you can adjust this in your settings like I'm doing here. So I've already adjusted mine, so you can just change the settings to what it needs to be. Now by default the rest of the information is correct. They said that you are able to stream in HD 1280 by 720 for static events and to monitor the stream, so it's up to you maybe just to try out different things when you're streaming. If you wanted to try boosting video quality, you might want to try using the high profile from the drop down menu here, and also make sure that you've got hardware encoding switched on the stream settings screen. So you just need to save and close those streaming settings and then go back to your production. So here's one I prepared earlier, so when you're ready to stream, just click the stream button to send the stream to Periscope. Now if you head back to Periscope, you'll be able to click on Preview Broadcast. Then if you're happy with the preview, give the stream a title, and then start your broadcast to Periscope. When you finish your stream, make sure to close it down on Periscope and vMix. Now Periscope Producer is very new, so this information may change in the future. So they might have API access that allows direct integration to encoders, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please keep in mind this is all a very new process, so if they have made changes that you notice, please let us know and we can adjust our video. Thanks.
Oh, audio. Thank you. Charles, you would think I would know better than this. This is the vMix Banana. Yes, you can get these on YouTube. He is very cool, and he is one of the symbols, I don't know why, but the guys at vMix says you got to have a banana, a vMix banana. So go with the vMix banana. So we'll put him back on the desktop. Back on the desktop. Oh, somebody said they wanted to see a picture of the desktop today. We do have a fish tank under the desktop, so it makes for some really interesting conversations over the telephone when a particularly large fish swims by, and you have to be careful where you put your toes. So we'll get back out of that. That was just for fun, just for fun. We've got who we got warming up in the bullpen. Yeah. Some of the guys in the chat room got together and have started a show. Actually, several of you guys have started shows, and you're anyway. We'll get to that in just a second. I was going to give you the punchline, but I'll hold back on that. Giles and John, together with Merle and sometimes Martin, have put together a show called Step Back. It's Step Back in Time TV is the well. Let me just play it. What the heck? We won't. I've just got this clip picked out from stepbackintime.tv. Let's go with it.
Say hello, Martin.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
We can hear you. Right,
hear me?
now then. Yeah.
Right.
Just stay there 2 seconds, because this is dun, 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 it's the All Tom's Fault section. Well, it's All Tom's Fault section. And that's what Martin is going to be here for today. Now, Martin, the best thing is, I think, if you explain where you are and what you're doing.
Right. I'm on the edge of a field, basically, in the boot of my car. So yes, I'm perched on the boot of my car, on the edge of a field in the UK, with a battery-powered light and a UPS, which is running a router on a 4G signal and an antenna, which has got me not too bad a signal today. And then I'm running two cameras. So I have an XF305, which is going into a Blackmagic, which is then going into Zoom. And I have another camera, XF205, which I'll just go to now. That's on night vision. And that's the view that I have if I my camera. So that's it's the moon, and you can just about see the trees in the distance. And yeah, I'm off the edge of a country lane. Let me put it back to me.
So
there we go.
You basically couldn't be any more off grid, really, could you?
No, not at all. The camera that I just cut to now, I'll change that. I'll let you have a look at the setup that I have here at the moment. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy, but it's working today. So this was about having a go and testing it. And yes, this is all Tom's fault.
It's possibly quite important to mention here, actually, that you're not using vMix at your end. You're just using big cameras and Zoom, aren't you? Because your vMix laptop is in for repair at the moment. So this is... It
is, yes. I was hoping it would be back by now, but I have a laptop with vMix on, and then I also have the vMix Go box. So I was hoping to have the laptop back today so I could run all the cameras into the laptop on vMix and not have to use Zoom. But unfortunately, it's not ready. So
what you have done is to show that it is possible to cobble something together in an emergency, and this is why the lip sync isn't quite right. I think your audio is a bit ahead of your video by about half a second. It's not our viewers' eyes. If you're using vMix, that wouldn't be happening, but it's just the nature of the combination of things you're using.
Yes, I think so. I mean, this really is lashed together. It's stuck together with a Band-Aid, I think, really. But it just shows that you can look at ways to overcome problems, which is what this is about, isn't it? It's about everyone trying to learn how to do things, and in some respects how to use systems that aren't necessarily designed for what we want to do with them, and find quirky ways to use it.
In, say, a country-wide emergency, that could be very important.
Yes.
Yeah, you're using Zoom from another country. There's no reason you couldn't give everyone the information they needed, provided they had the power to get your broadcast. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's something a little bit different. Yeah. Hopefully with the vMix machine, this would be a lot smoother. But it's amazing what you can do with Zoom. And then I'm just using
So it's no longer one vMix, one awesome stream. It's one guy, one trunk, one stream.
one little remote control, which is on a switcher, which is 2 HDMI cameras linked in. And yeah, if it will switch to the other shot. So I'm kind of hands-free. I've got a Mac here, but I'm just using the little HDMI splitter box to change the signal. And yes, there is a little bit of a delay, but I think for a lashed together system, it just shows you what can be done.
And it's all Tom's fault.
It's definitely all Tom. He's a bad man. He got me into this, and and now I'm doing crazy things like this, like sitting in the boot of my car, and yeah. So.
Okay, well, enough of that. As you can see, those guys are having way too much fun. Martin in that shot actually was out in the boonies, that we would call it here in the U.S., and had no electricity and no internet, and so it was basically a proof of concept that you could stream completely off the grid. And you know, hats off to Martin for putting that together, and hats off to Giles for putting the whole show together, and of course Merlin and John to add some tree trimming. Now, I do have a question. Let's see if we've got it right here. Yeah, we've got it right here. Looking at this shot right here, does it look like Martin has got some sort of antlers? We'll just leave that thought in your mind right there. I just couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. What's coming down the pike? Golly gee. vMix 18 is in beta, should be released in final form in December is the thought. Martin Sinclair is, if he's not in the U.S. now, he's on his way to the U.S. He's heading out to the West Coast if you're out in California way, and can get to the Streaming Media Magazine, the West Coast conference that they put on I think it's called Streaming Media West. Martin will be there at that event. vMix was a finalist, in 3 different categories in the Streaming Media Magazine's Reader's Choice Awards, and so he's there in hopes that maybe they can pull down a Streaming Media trophy. But nevertheless, it was great to see him nominated in not 1, not 2, but 3 different categories, and that's pretty cool. Martin will be switching coasts and coming back over to the U.S., coming over to the East Coast of the U.S. the following week, the second week of November, to go to NAB New York. So if you're in the New York area and haven't decided to go to NAB, you might want to take a look at it and then look up the vMix booth and meet Martin. He's really, really a nice guy, and extremely talented, as you can tell. Dave has posted the URL to our sort of test website for our professional association. He posted it in chat. I'm going to put it in the streaming in the notes on YouTube, in the show notes. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and contact me, Tom at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Tom at EasternShoreBroadcasting.com, and we'll keep you in the loop with how that goes. At this point, there isn't a list per se. We've just dummied up some things. and we just wanted to kind of have an idea of how things might work. Frankly, what I'm hoping is that there can be somewhere between 4 and 6 or 8 of us that would sort of be a steering committee that would work together, kind of adding some form and some shape to this organization. We don't want to get it, too top heavy with a lot of stuff that has to be maintained, but rather something that's light and easy to work with, that people can join. With some amount of screening. I don't think that we're going to have a requirement that you have to be a vMix guy in order to do it. I think the idea is that you have to have been doing live streaming for a while, and be able to show off some work. So we'll continue to kind of push this idea forward, and hopefully we get a good result with that. It was who was it? It was Richard Ignacio that he and I had, I won't say we had an argument, we had a disagreement over the importance of Facebook Live. And he sent me a note this week. He's the one that streams the jet ski races all over the U.S. and has done very, very well with it. And he is being interviewed for an article in Streaming Media Magazine by Jan Ozer. Jan is the streaming guru on the staff at Streaming Media Magazine. And Jan was interviewing Rich based on his phenomenal results, among other things, using Facebook Live as a CDN to get his stream out to the world. And at last count, he had something like 47 million views using Facebook Live. So hat tip to Rich. Rich, you were right. I was wrong. And actually, we're streaming today on Facebook Live and have gotten somewhat of a result. The key, as Rich told me, the key to Facebook Live is you've got to have a Facebook community already. You're not just going to open up a Facebook page and stream to that page, which you can do through vMix. You can literally tell vMix to stream to a particular page or a particular group or an event. But if you don't already have a community there to stream to, you're not going to get that result. So let's say, for example, you are a pretty good sized church, and part of the offering that the church makes to the community is not just their website, but a Facebook page. And so you've got 600 or 700 folks that like your Facebook page. Well, there's a community that you can stream to. If you've got 10 people liking your page, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And if you've got 600,000 folks liking your page, well, then absolutely go for it. Facebook Live is going to be a good way to do it. That's sort of a preface to saying there's a new player in this kind of live streaming for free to the whole world setup. And so we've got YouTube Live, we've got Facebook Live, we've got Periscope, and now the parent company of Periscope, which is Twitter, is getting in on the game. And you can do all of those directly through vMix. Well, the new one that popped up on my radar this week is Instagram. And Instagram will allow you to do live streaming to your Instagram page, channel, pocket, whatever they call it on Instagram. I have an Instagram account, but I'm not really an Instagram fanboy. I'm a little old to be a fanboy for anything, but anyway. But one of the neat things that happened to me is there's one particular group that I follow on Instagram, and whenever they go live, my phone dings, just a little ding, to let me know that they're live. And I'm kind of interested in the content that they're producing. So when I hear a ding, I'm like one of Pavlov's dogs. I mean, I'm salivating. I'm going to my phone to say, hey, is this something I want to watch? I've got a few minutes. I can do it now. And so I'm going to watch it live. Plus I have the ability to interact. And it's a little cumbersome on a phone, but I can still do it. And if the content is going to be worthwhile, I'm going to watch for a while. If not, maybe I'll kind of mentally bookmark it to go back later and do it. But keep in mind, we've got more arrows in our quiver in terms of the ability to stream, the ability to go where there is an audience. So with YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Twitter and Periscope and now Instagram, all of which are, can you say it, free? Yes, cheapskate free. Now, do you want to? What if you want to control your own audience? Well, that's a different story, and we've talked about that some before in the past. That's why I was directing folks in the pre-show to easternshorebroadcasting.com. Did it again? There it is. Because that's where the chat room was. So if you want to, if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook right now, you can come to easternshorebroadcasting.com and you can see the chat room. And because the guys are talking about, in fact, they're not even talking about anything we're talking about here. I need to do away with this chat room. Not really. But the idea is that you can add that additional level of engagement in your broadcast so that people can feedback to you. For example, when my mic wasn't on just a minute ago, there were 12 people in there and all caps saying no audio. It was like, okay, one of you would have been enough. But the give and take between the host and the audience, but here's the beauty, and it's happening here with this, and I give you guys a big thumbs up, is the group that's here in the audience are beginning to become friends with each other. There's a community forming. And so when Giles wanted to start a show and involve some other people, he's in England, John's in Denmark, Merle's in the USA in Indiana, Martin is in somewhere else in the United Kingdom. They had an existing relationship, even though probably they'd never really met, and so they could meet online and they could bring in all the resources that they could bring to bear. And so all of a sudden something spins off. And even though it becomes, even though these guys are going to be competition for me, I can see that already. It's like, oh, geez, I've created competition. Not really. It's more a collegial kind of thing. So if you're thinking about doing a broadcast, include a chat room because really good things happen on that. It may take a while for people to kind of get to know each other, and chat is kind of a little scary sometimes for some folks, but give it a thought. Give it a thought. Alan Bunt is doing his church broadcast up at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, and they have the Sunday service that is broadcast live. He's got a chat room. And when the time comes for the prayers of the people in the service, they are paying attention to the chat room to see who's got prayers. They're even taking it that much further, and in his particular tradition, they offer communion on a regular basis. So all the folks that are their parishioners but online actually can ask for and receive by mail a little communion kit, so that when they do communion at the church, the folks at home can do the same thing. So there are lots of ways to engage your audience. It's going to be a little different depending on, kind of what your thing is, whether it's church or sports or politics or talk shows or whatever. But keep in mind how to involve your audience in that. And I commend you with the idea of using a chat. Now, and we're running out of time, I understand this, but let me try to squeeze this in. So we've talked about YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Periscope, and I think all of those have a chat of some kind. If you're gonna use any multiple of those, or heaven forbid, use all of them, how in the world are you going to be able to interact with your audience? Well, I think there's a solution out there. I haven't seen it yet. And so I'm going to look for it, but I encourage you to take a look if this is something that you're interested in too. Do you remember when we had Rudy Ellis from Switchboard Live on the show some months ago? Well, I saw something I think it was on LinkedIn from Rudy the other day, or maybe it was on Twitter, that said that they were dealing with that problem, and that, you remember, Switchboard Live is among other things, is a restreaming service. So they can take a single feed from you and they can stream it to your YouTube page, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, etc. Well, I don't think Instagram yet, but in fact, that was how I asked him. Were you going to be able to combine all these together? And he said, yes. In fact, not only we have a way to be able to stream to all of them, but we have a way to be able to combine the chat so that as a broadcaster, you can look to one source to see the chat from multiple different locations. So there we go. And it looks like Giles is saying that in the chat right now. So keep an eye out for that. It's unfolding as we speak. I think it's it's like any other new technology. When something comes out, it spurs somebody else to think of a way to use it or a different way to combine other functions. And so it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be in that. What's coming up? Golly gee, what is coming up? I don't think anything's good coming up. I'm just teasing. Keep in mind, or keep an eye out for vMix 18 coming out very soon, by the end of the year, possibly even sooner. If you have purchased a vMix license in the last 12 months, you can upgrade. Actually, you can get any upgrade you want for free. But also, if it's within the last 12 months, you get a free upgrade to vMix 18. A free upgrade to vMix 18. What if what if you're 1 day out? If you're 1 day out, well, you're going to have to write a check. But the check's only going to be for $60 to make the upgrade, and that'll give you free upgrades for another year. So I think that's really, it's the right thing to do. I used to represent a different software company that had a product that was a live streaming product, and I had a customer that was 1 day over that year, and it was going to be 50% of the cost of the software to upgrade, and that company would not grandfather them in by 1 day. It was like, I guess on one hand I understand it, but on the other hand, if you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they're only 1 day between free and not free, you could give them a break. But that's a different story for a different day. Looks like Mike is saying that Streaming Media West starts next Tuesday with live seminars that are webcast from the event. So you can Google Streaming Media West and probably find your way to anything that's going on there. So there's probably going to be some great stuff there. And it looks like I've missed out on all sorts of super stuff in the chat room. So let's wrap this show up. Looks like Rich is here, so he's going to have to bring snacks to the post-show chat party. If you're watching us live, come on over to chat, because it's a great time, and the guys are really, really fun to hang out with. And do we have any gals with us today? Generally, we have a couple of ladies, but I don't see them right off the top of my head. Anyway, it'll be a fun time, and you can do that live in just a few minutes. Rich says that he's bringing mixed nuts. Well, that ought to be pretty easy with this crowd. They were bringing for themselves, and I've got my lemonade, so we're good to go. So on behalf of all of us here at Eastern Shore Broadcasting, that's me and Rooney, I want to thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I mean, heck, you've watched this far, you may as well subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter, and check us out on Facebook. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, and there are links to all that stuff there. And we try to keep folks up to date. I know when we had a different show day, was that just last week that we had a different show day? I think so. We posted it on all the social media, but there were a couple of folks that apparently don't subscribe to us on social media. You got to fix that, Tommy. Anyway, it's been great. And look forward to seeing you on next week, next Wednesday, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, there's a time change coming at some point, but I think that's the week after that. So if you're in a place that has already had, either you've already gone out of summertime or daylight savings time, or you're about to go into it, try to key into the fact that we are 3 o'clock Eastern in the U.S. and that'll and you can get a good translation on that time, but don't ask me to do it for you. Whew. Okay. Hey, have a great day. Good streaming. We'll see you next week. Hey, Anderson's here. And we're out. Okay. For those of you that might just be visiting with us for the first time today, it's kind of fun. You see the laptop over my shoulder here, and actually the laptop was doing the streaming and the recording, and then the streaming to YouTube of 720 and recording at 1080, and then here on my production PC, I was doing the production and also streaming to Facebook Live. And we were using NDI to connect the two, so there's virtually no lag. And with, who was it? It was Martin Sinclair that was kind enough to give me, let's move over to our post show. There we go. Martin Sinclair was saying, Tom, it could be as simple as a cable because I wasn't getting gigabit speeds. And sure enough, I was using a Cat 5 cable. And when I moved to a Cat 6, all of a sudden, I had 10 times much more bandwidth. So that was pretty great. That was pretty great. I think I see, if Jeremy's still here. Jeremy, I got to thinking about what we were talking about this morning. And the 100 meg up and down you've got is great, but if we're trying to send 4K over that, 100 megs may not be enough. So we'll chat some more about that. Jeremy's got a great project where he's got a church with 2 remote campuses and wants to send them the live feed, and has been doing it, but wants to now send the live feed 4K because obviously it's it's on a big screen, and how everything degrades when you blow it up like that. So they're looking to get a 4K transfer from the main campus to the remote campuses. So we will be working some more with him on that one. Yeah, Chris, it's funny that I've got a stack of Cat 6 cables here, but I wasn't using one of them. Duh. Dave says 20 megs should be PK for 4K. All right. It's funny because, what was it? Martin Sinclair was saying it was going to be more like 60 megs, or no, it was going to be 40 megs for 1080. So we need to roll around in those numbers and get some definitive guidelines or thumbnails to use. And since Martin was able to do 4K on his show 2 weeks ago, I don't know if they were doing NDI on that one or if they were doing it all on one PC. So we'll see. And Jeremy's saying that he's got connections with dark fiber, so they can do anything they want to. But it's going to be interesting because more and more people are going to be moving to 4K, and Jeremy's is a great example of somebody that doesn't want to just communicate on the small screen, the second screen, the TV screen, or even the third screen, but really wants to communicate on, you can't even see it, it's wider than my hands, the big screen. Mike is saying that, remember that a 100 megabyte port, the real max speed is only 80 megs. There you go. And Giles is running 40 to 120 megabits on Ethernet for NDI with vMix 18. Yeah, I'm running 131, 132, 124 right now going to my laptop. And I need to find out from Martin and maybe talk to some of the new tech guys and get some. The thing about new tech, it's really interesting, and it was part of the interview that Paul Richards did with the president, Andrew Cross, in the PTZ Optics. You can look it up in their PTZ Optics YouTube page. Paul interviewed Andrew, and among the other things he was asking about 4K, and Andrew was sort of, don't see the need for it, we're really not going there yet. And again, New Tech makes a TriCaster. TriCaster is a hardware-software solution in a locked box. And so, if it's going to happen, NewTek is going to have to figure out how to make that box do 4K reliably. And I suspect since he's being a little hesitant to speak about it, either it's about to come out and explode the market, or maybe they're taking some time with it. But since NewTek is the one that developed the NDI technology, and they seem to be, at least at first glance, a little slow to move into the 4K world, then we want to keep an eye and make sure that NDI is going to be robust enough to be able to carry that. Now, I know that Richard Gutarski over in, is Richard in Sweden? I never remember. But he did a point-to-point fiber send on NDI probably about 6 or 8 weeks ago. I'll have to look back in that. I think he posted that in the vMix forum, his results on that, and they were real promising. And then of course, the NewTek guys did the what was it, Sweden to South Africa and back over a VPN. So anyway, there's some good history out there. It's going to be interesting, and as anything with cutting-edge technology, it is what it is today, and tomorrow it may be better. We would be hoping. TC says, got a notice from Xfinity. He's used 900 megs average month over the past 3 months with a 1 gig cap. Wow. Okay, and let's see, what was it? Somebody had posted something back here I wanted to see. 180. Tom, I was able to open and run 2 instances of vMix on the same PC, yes, and the internal NDI on the same PC to connect the 2 vMixes to each other. Yes, I've done that too. That was really fun. Is it possible for me to stream to 6, oops, I lost it, to 6 Facebooks from the same PC, 3 streams from the first vMix, 3 streams from the second one, if I have enough bandwidth? Oh yeah, I was able to run the full version, unlimited inputs, on the second instance of vMix. Is it possible? Probably. Probably. It's going to be, it's not going to be bandwidth. At some point, it's going to be processing power too. If you're talking about 6 encoders at the same time, or what will be 6 instances of FFmpeg. But that's cool, and that whole concept of doing multiple instances of vMix on the same PC. And right now, some of you are going, what? What did he say? Let me show you. Let's set up a screen capture here real quick. Sometimes the best stuff doesn't happen in the real show. It happens afterwards. Let's see. Let's just take, I'm just going to capture my desktop and send it out to you. So this is my desktop on my left monitor. And so obviously you can see the big picture of me over here on the left. That's the preview over to the other side over there, the window with the green border at the top. That's the output, and then down below are all the different inputs. What I want to do is go up to settings, though, in the top right-hand corner. And I'm going to go to down at the bottom in here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but there's a little, in the bottom left-hand corner, yeah, you can see my mouse. It says Show Advanced Settings. So I'm going to do that, and then it says Advanced Settings should not be changed unless instructed by vMix support. Do you wish to continue? Well, of course. We like to live dangerously. So we've enabled that. I think, well, is it going to want to restart the PC to do that? Let's see. No, it didn't. Okay. So now I can go into Settings, and I think it's on the Performance tab. No, maybe it's on the Options tab. Yes, down here at the very bottom on the Options tab, Enable Multiple Instances. And if I check that, it's already checked, and then click OK, now I can go down in, well, I probably can't do it there, but I can go in Windows 10, and I can find vMix, and I can start a second instance of vMix. And there it is, all set and ready to go. Is that going to kill my CPU? Depends on what I do with it. I mean, I'm running 57 inputs right now. some of them are just really, really low, low requirement. But others like chroma key do use a bit of horsepower. So right now, what do we got? vMix. This vMix version is at 12%. The other vMix version is at 1%. Okay, and overall is 40%. Keep in mind that we're doing this today on a second generation i7. That's the i7 2600K CPU. Why do you use a second generation, Tom? Because if it's going to work with a second generation, I know it's going to work with the sixth generation. And so I want to use this kind of, it's not really a low bar, but it's a more stringent requirement. If I can make it work here, I know it's going to work and with a faster, better CPU. Plus, I'm a cheapskate, and I hate to let this 2600K CPU go to waste. So I've actually got this one and then two others in the rack here in the closet next to me. I use those for my remote production when I'm bringing in multiple guests and producing a show for somebody else. Okay, so that's it on that multiple instances. It's going to be fun to play with that. And I think it's going to, as 180 said, it's going to be a way to sort of magnify the ability of magnify your ability to stream to multiple locations. Keep in mind that if you want to build a PC that's capable of sending 6 1080p streams, it might be cheaper to send one stream to Switchboard Live and then let them redistribute it to 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 different places for $20 a month or whatever it's going to be. So just because we can do something doesn't mean we should do something. But it sure is fun to think about it, talk about it. Martin K says vMix Funtime was definitely using 2 PCs, as they said in the diagram during the show. Aha! You know what? We didn't even get to see Martin. Have I got Martin sitting on hold all this time? Yeah, let's bring him in. So this doesn't get to be part of the show, but here is Martin. Welcome,
my name is Martin. I am the CEO of vMix, of vMix 18, 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 of vMix 18.
Okay, well, obviously Martin is having some problems down there in Australia with their internet. It's skipping a little bit, but Martin did have to show up for a minute. Chris says, so now that you've shown us multiple vMixes, how do you set up NDI together? This is vMix 18. Yes, Rich. Well, can I show it to you that simple? Let's see. Let's go back to the screen capture. And let's go back to the second instance of vMix, keeping in mind I've never done this before. And let's add an input. And we'll go to NDI Desktop Capture, and these are the NDI inputs that are currently available from the other system. Now the black ones, all 4 of those black ones right there are audio, so they're going to be black. They're not going to have anything. And the way I've got my vMix configured right now, the first instance, the way I have it configured, is the only thing that's going to be allowable to NDI is going to be the output. Because that's what I've got going to my laptop. So we can select the output here and bring in that output, and now you're going to see the output, which is, the output of the output. So that does answer the question, can NDI resources be shared? The answer to that question is yes, they can. Let's go back to the main screen here. There we go. And we'll go back to this one. And now that I'm sharing that, that 1080p is being shared from this software, from this instance of vMix to the second instance of vMix, my CPU here on my i7 2600K is 50%. Keeping in mind, it's also sending that over NDI to the laptop. And I know that you guys know a bunch more about this than I do. Dano, any preference on HDMI capture cards that work well with Canon Vixia cams? That's what I'm doing today. I mean, you know, go to eBay and get a Blackmagic Intensity Pro, the old style, not the 4K version, but the old style. You get those for about 60, 80 bucks. And they do great. I've got 2 Canon Vixias running today, one here and one on the fish tank. Oh, what happened to the fish tank? Oh no, did I lose my fish tank? Or maybe I just put it on a different page. Oh yeah, here it is. There's the fish tank. So I was looking at the wrong thing. Giles, it's a shame you can't export multi-views and other composites via NDI. Let's see, what can you do? Settings, external outputs, NDI. You can do recordings, external output, external to, cameras, audio input, and audio output. So that's right. You can, at this point, you can't do that. But you can have an external output that's not NDI, that is a multi-view. So you can throw a multi-view up on a monitor. I mean, people have been doing that for a long time. John L. says, add your NDI output to the secondary vMix and take notice of your network load. It will not increase. It shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't affect the network at all. It would just affect the CPU, I would think. The bulb blew in the fish tank. Yes, it did. What Blackmagic was that? Merle, it was the Blackmagic Intensity Pro. Intensity Pro. Now, the new version is called the Intensity Pro 4K. It's $189 at your local B&H Photo. But I think you can do better than that. I mean, unless you need 4K, you know, go buy a used Intensity Pro card. I've got 2 of them in my production PC and another one sitting on the shelf. No, I take that back. I've got 2 in my production PC. I've got a second one in a Thunderbolt chassis, a third one, excuse me, in a Thunderbolt chassis that I was using with my laptop on some experiments the other day. You can make your own multi-view and access it through NDI. Yes, you can make your own multi-view. That's the key to that. Yep. And I think vMix needs more external outputs. I've said that for a while. Need the ability either through the monitor, graphics card outputs, or through you know, like Blackmagic mini monitors or other things like that. Tommy Willis says, Tom has a banana on his vMix mousepad. I'm jealous. He must be special. Well, I am special in more ways than one, let me tell you. TC says, all mine are used. All your Intensity Pro cards are used. There you go. That's right. All right, Giles and John obviously have to have a conversation between the 2 of them there. Yeah. All right, let's see. What else did I miss a while back? Martin K is saying something. Martin K says the official NDI camera app for Android and iOS is out now. And this is from NewTek, not the one from Sienna, Martin. Is that what you're saying? Let's see. I thought I saw another comment later then. By official, I mean an app from NewTek themselves. Right. What else did I miss a while back? Yeah, Anderson pops in and says, what did I miss? And Giles says, everything. Oh, that's great. You guys be nice to Anderson. Poor guy, you know, he's stuck down in Barbados where the temperature is, what, probably 87 degrees. He's probably hot in the sun. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Dave published the URL to the Streamers Network. Dave, I think I have a URL called Live Streaming Professionals that I grabbed a while back that might be good for this. Kudos to Tom for creating a new segment where we all try to stream from random and difficult locations. That's Spienda. Good. That was great, Martin. That was super. I love it. I love it. You know, and people, you know, 7 years from now, which of course is computer time, so that means a year from now, people are going to be looking back at that and saying, you know, golly, that guy was doing, we could do that. And they're going to be cobbling batteries together with inverters and all this other stuff. They probably already are. Yeah, Rich, I'm looking at Rich's post that said he set up something similar on Facebook to network live stream broadcasters. Rich, you are on my list of people that I would like to be on this steering committee. Not that it's my committee to call, but you know, you would be one of those people that I think would be great. So I'm going to email you about that. Tom, how do you use vMix to send a feed to a projector? Well, assuming the projector connects like a monitor, you just send it to the monitor. vMix has that button in the middle. Let me show you my desktop again. It's got that button up here in the middle. You'll see it turn off and on, green and not green. And that allows me to send the whatever's hooked up on display 1. And let's say, for example, that's my, you know, that's a projector. I can send any number of inputs out to the projector. And so I could do it that way. Or I could use the external button down here and have a Blackmagic Intensity Pro with HDMI plugged into it on output, or the Blackmagic Mini monitor with SDI or HDMI plugged into it on output, or you know, any one of the Blackmagic either what was it, the Quad 2 or the Duo 2, which will do input or output, and send them out that way. So there are a lot of different options there. It really depends on what your projector will take in terms of an input. That's the, I think that's the, what would you call it, the limiting factor. What else did I miss? Giles, Tom, have you any experience with installing 2 8-input SDI cards in one PC to give 16 inputs? Yes, I've done that. It's fun. It's fun. Oh, no, I take that back. I did. This was back before Blackmagic had made the Decklink Quad. It was only 4 inputs, 4 outputs, so we put 2 quads in one machine. So it was really only 8. It was not 16, but it was 2 of those cards, which have now been reworked to do 8 inputs instead of 4. And it was a beast. It was I mean, it wasn't that much of a beast. It was a 6-core CPU, but it really breezed through all that stuff. Yeah, Dave brings up the X99. Boy, that's a Halloween conversation if there is one, because the X99 has got some issues. And I am not an expert on the X99, and I know I've used a couple of them on some 6-core builds, and I know that Martin Sinclair and Tim tried to use their Beast X99 PC to do their 4K show 2 weeks ago, and they weren't able to because it had some sort of limiting factor on the lanes that could be used in certain situations. I didn't really understand it. I need to go back and check the video again and see exactly what they were talking about. All right, John is answering Sasha's question. Dave is answering Giles' question. Martinez says it was fun to stream from a field. If I can do it, anyone can. I like that attitude. Trying to catch up here. 8 by 8 SDI works if you have enough PCI lanes, 2 slots with 8 lanes. X99, etc. Says Peter. Thank you, Peter. Giles says I'm running X99 8 core with a GTX 8980. Probably has a guts, just not sure. Well, Giles, here, I don't know what it's like in England, but here, if you order something from Amazon, like a Blackmagic Decklink and Decklink Quad 2 card, or 2 of them, and you don't like them, you've got 30 days to return them. So I would use that as a trial period. Yep. Anderson's giving us his excuses as to why he's late. Does anyone know of affordable NDI adapters? Chris, are you just trying to cause trouble? Oh, I love it. There is no such thing as an affordable NDI adapter, number one. And number two, I don't think there are any of them out there. I mean, unless you call this an NDI adapter. It's a Cat 6 cable. You know, what do you want to adapt? I know the guys at Bird Dog TV are working on an adapter that will take either SDI or HDMI and convert it to an NDI signal, so you can take a camera, put the adapter on the back of it, and plug an Ethernet cable into it. But they haven't brought it to market yet. They were in pre-production last time I heard. All right, a bunch of folks saying their X99 machines are doing great. That's good. You're welcome, Mike. Wondering what best option to RTMP a stream a Linux desktop for presentation. Ooh, I can't help you with Linux. Amazon good advice. There you go. Giles, I use VNC to get the Linux. Okay, I'm not. Jens is here. Welcome, Jens. If you can't be here on time, at least show up when you can. Okay, Chris wants to go NDI to SDI or HDMI. I mean, you can use a PC as a converter, depending on how you want to convert it. A little mini PC running the new tech free tools, or running like vMix HD, basic HD, which is just four inputs for $60. Anderson says he's trying to get us to not talk about the fact that he fell asleep. He said, Tom, I noticed your iris is set to auto iris, so every time you raise your hands, your face gets brighter. Oh, there it is. Part of that's shadow. And part of that is, you know, I'm not a camera guy. I'll have to go look and see if I have a manual iris setting on this $100 camera. I'm betting not. How do you set a trigger in vMix so that when you zoom in on a virtual set, it turns off the overlay? Oh, Jason. Oh, by the way, Jason, welcome. That is a great question. I don't know that will do that. Giles has been doing a lot with triggers. He might have an answer for that. Tommy says his vMix mousepad is NDI compatible. Is your mouse NDI compatible? That's the key. And is your cat? Okay. Brian, hey Brian. Brian built an X99 system with a 5820, 16 gigs RAM, 256 SD, only runs 20% with 4 HD cameras on vMix. There you go. Good job, Brian. That's great. Apparently, whatever the bullet is that got the vMix guys didn't get you. That's good. Freedom Sound. Hello, Freedom Sound. I would like to start using vMix, but I still need to record broadcast to an external DVD recorder. How should I handle this? You can, well, I mean, how are you going to connect the external DVD recorder? Is that going to connect via USB? Or, I mean, because it's going to be DVD. Is it, you just want to record the audio? Oh, you need to record the entire broadcast. It should. How do you yeah, there's the question. How do you connect the external DVD recorder? Do you connect it as if it were a video device, or do you connect it as if it were a file transfer device? That is, are you connecting it to a USB or FireWire, or are you connecting it to a monitor port or video output card? Video device. Okay, what kind of video device? HDMI, SDI, composite, component. Good question. And Giles is already on Jason's question. Look at that. I love this. Composite. Okay. Okay. Composite means you're going to take a composite output, which would mean something like a, you could take VGA and convert it to composite. You could take a Blackmagic Intensity Pro card and take the composite feed from the composite. Oh, that's not an output though, is it? Matthew says, thank you. External DVD recorders only support S-video and composite. Well, there you go. Gavin says JVC recorders have SDI. And that's going to be the difference between standard definition and high definition. So if you want high definition, you're not going to be able to use composite. But I guess Freedom Sound, it's a timing thing. I mean, you want to be able to record something so that when it's done, you can finish the DVD and then duplicate it. You know, the less complicated way would be just to take the MP4 file that you have of your broadcast and put that in a DVD authoring program and burn a DVD from that. Plus, it would be high definition at that point, but it would take extra time. That's the thing. So yeah, Anderson would do the DVD recording program on a second PC. I'm reading through all this stuff, trying to see which conversations should involve me, because a lot of them should. And Giles has already got a solution. I love it. Martin K says, all DVD recorders are SD. Didn't know that. So any SDI connection would also be standard definition. Thank you, Martin. I love having Martin here because Martin is the definitive answer on all this stuff. And Freedom Sound says we need instant production output of DVDs. Bingo. Yeah, I thought it was a timing thing because I've talked to several people about that same thing. So in that case, I would say, you know, VGA converted to composite, and then take the composite RCA out and press record. But that, I mean, almost any software, I guess, I don't know that well, but almost any software should be able to send its output, the finished output, to the video card so that you can do that. if you want to shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, I can outline how how 1, 2, 3 it would be done in vMix, and you can download the vMix trial and try it. I mean, you might have to buy a $15 adapter cable, but that would work. Tom Sinclair, special streaming guy, SSG. All right, Tommy Willis taking a nap. We can go home now. All right, Brian Daly says, I use a Blackmagic Intensity shuttle on USB 3 on output from vMix, which gives composite output option. Well, there you go. Good job, Brian Daly. Freedom Sound, that may be a possibility. Careful with the Blackmagic Intensity shuttle. I know Brian may tell you a lot of folks have had problems with that particular device on USB 3. Bum. Anderson says, is there a problem with the vMix website? I cannot connect. TC says it's there. Someone phone buzzing. Yeah, that's me. I was trying to ignore it. It's somebody, yeah. Yep. All right, good questions. Yeah, okay. Now everybody's going to say it's Tom's. Hey, Al's here. Welcome, Al. We were talking about you a little while ago. At least I was. I don't know about the rest of this group. Glad to have you. All right, Jeremy says that he's timed an 11-second delay between chat and video. Is that fairly normal? What is the lower bounds of realistic limit for latency? Jeremy, we are using YouTube today, and 11 seconds is going to probably going to be the best that YouTube is going to do. But YouTube is not using Flash. And so if we did Flash would be 2 to 3 seconds. But somebody else may want to chime in on that one too. I have an account with Dacast, DACAST.com, that I haven't used in a while. It's probably accumulating hundreds of gigs of bandwidth that just rolls over from month to month. And Jeremy, I would welcome you to borrow my Dacast account and try it in your application. Yeah, Al says 11 seconds is awesome. His runs 30 seconds through Dacast. Yeah, but Al's using the Dacast HTML5 service, the Akamai service, and not their Flash service. I know they're trying to get away from their Flash. John says for any practical application, 9 to 11 seconds is just about as low as you can get. Again, I would put the footnote on that one to say except for Flash. And if you want, we can set up. Can we set up a little Flash stream? Let's see. Is anybody watching us on the Facebook live stream? Because I'll take that one down, and I'll put up a quick Flash stream so y'all can see. Yeah. Okay. There are 2 people watching on Facebook live. If y'all will switch over to easternshorebroadcasting.com, because I'm going to drop that feed, and I'm going to reuse that same channel for a Flash feed. So, and I have to give you 10 to 12 seconds to hear that, because if I drop it right now, it will literally cut it off right now, and you won't hear what I just said. It doesn't empty its buffer. It just kills it immediately. So let's wait another second or two. And yeah, Al said it's a constant 100%. Yeah, and that's one of the downsides with Flash is there's no error correction. It just pops it out there pretty quickly. Okay, so we're going to cut the feed to Facebook Live, And let's reconfigure that real quick to decast. Let's see, let's find decast. And we need to log in. So we need to put in our password. Log in and update channels. And we're going to use the Streaming Idiots channel because that's a Flash channel. And let's go ahead and start that. Okay, and I'm gonna give you guys a link and you can look at it. Let's see, decast, log in, and pick up a link here somewhere. And this is Streaming Idiots Flash. And I want to have, oh, this little pop-up is in the way. Thank you. Where can we get this? Live channels. Streaming Idiots Flash. Okay. And are we having it? Is it working? Make sure it's working before I share a link with you guys. No, I don't see anything. Sit tight with me just a minute. I don't know. Let's try a different way of doing that. Let's go to encoder setup. Stop that stream. We'll go to custom RMTP. Select publishing point. Let's go Ashburn. Okay. And vMix. And stream URL. Copy, paste. Stream names. Copy, paste. Let's see if that does it. Nope. Oh, I see. Let's try that. Okay. Preview. There we go. All right. Let's pause that one because that's going to be annoying. Now let me go back and get the a code that I can give you guys to watch. Let's see if this one will work. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Okay, here we go. That'll work. So let's put that in the chat. Sorry about this, but I just wanted to prove the point to you guys that you can get 3 seconds of delay. Now, what you're watching, if you go to this link, the Decast link, you're watching this show streamed to Cast in somewhere on the East Coast, somewhere. And then depending on where you are, you may get it in 2 or 3 seconds, but I was getting it in about 3 seconds. So I missed a bunch of stuff in chat since then. It would get constipated if it didn't enter its buffer. Thank you, Giles, for sharing. Anderson thinks I buy new cameras. Mine's the one that doesn't have iris control, Anderson. Yes. Actually, the first cameras that I remember buying were the Canon GL1s. I bought a box of them. There were 4 of them in the box because the tape drives were bad. So they were selling them for scrap. I think I don't know what I paid, maybe $100 a piece for them. And I used those for years when I was doing soccer because they had really good glass. Okay. All right. All right, so Jeremy is saying cool. I think that's to me, but it could be to the other guys. But that's low latency, and that's a technology, unfortunately, that's going away. I don't know why. I don't know the backstory, the behind-the-scenes story. All right, so over in England, the cast is 7 seconds ahead of YouTube. All right. Oh, you're welcome, Jeremy. It's my pleasure. As you can tell, it didn't take long to set it up. And once all the codes are there, you just press the go button every time. Chris used the cast to. All right, Jeremy timed it at 4.5 seconds. Yep. And that experience is going to be, I think, probably pretty consistent. Within a second or two. Of course, that's a 30% deviation. Giles has got YouTube at 13 seconds. Okay. Now, Chris, when you used a cast over the weekend, were you using HTML5 or were you using Flash? And was it a pay-per-view audience or was it just a regular audience? And if you're watching me on Dacash, you'll give me a quick answer. If you're watching me on YouTube, it's going to take 13 seconds for you to hear my question and then some time to respond to it. That's the beauty of the Dacash feed. Gavin's got chat on a wingless tablet. It's a challenge to copy and paste, but he got it going 13 seconds here in the UK. And that's on the Dacash feed, I'm assuming, Gavin. And, as we can tell, everybody's got a little different situation, and the internet is not it's not an interstate highway leading directly to your door. There's some back roads here and there that it takes. Like what was it earlier in the week, or was it last week when there was half the internet was down? Yep, Canon GL1 was a great camera. Still is a great camera. Can I throw the clock up? Yes, I can throw the clock up. I bet. If I can remember how to do it. Clock. Clock, clock, clock. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. That's not a clock. Is that a clock? No. Is that a clock? No. Is that a clock? No. It would help if I labeled these things. No, none of those were clocks. Well, I know where I've got a clock, but it's going to confuse you guys if I use it. I've got a clock on the pre-show, so don't be confused. This is not this is not the post-show, not the pre-show. Where is that clock anyway? It is current time, number 41. Okay. So what if we put number 41 on this one? Then we can go back the way it should be. Current time. There we go. And we'll go back to the post show. There's your current time. All right. Chris, but not PayPal. Sasha, to answer the Flash question. There you go. What's wrong with Flash? Not flash pay-per-view. Got it. John, Tom said, for practical applications, you don't get much faster than 9 to 11 seconds. Your decast only supports single quality, no transcoding. That is true. Yes, this is 720. Good point. And that's indeed one of the reasons why YouTube is slower, is because it's re-encoding it into, what, 4 different formats. And Rich is giving me the HTML code. Thank you, Rich. I'm not smart enough to do it from memory. I have to cut and paste it from a prior incident. Only works for the same day, won't count down days. There you go. Flash doesn't like mobile devices. That's a good point. It does not do iPads, iPhones, doesn't do anything Mac, and doesn't do Android. Yeah, that's why we're getting rid of it, because it wasn't very friendly. But hey, for the job, it was the right tool. For the job, it was the right tool. It was, it was a special tool for a special job. And now that we want all these other jobs like iPhones and Android phones and multi-speed, multi-resolution, yeah, Flash is not going to cut it. I think at one point I was doing, it wasn't too long ago, I was sending 2 feeds to the cast. One was Flash, one was HTML5, and the Flash feed was 720p, that's all you got. The HTML5 feed was not a multiple bit rate. It was, I think, just like 180. But you could do it on your phone, and 180p on your phone is very, very, very legible. Heck, it's, if you're watching on your phone, you're really listening for the most part. So it was just getting the audio out there that was the key. All right, Mike says to cast 2 seconds, YouTube 14 seconds. Okay, but again, on YouTube, you've got a choice as to which quality you want to watch right now. All right, John L. said, just paid $$, $$. That sounds like a lot of money for the Android NDI app, and it works really well. Ha. All right, Anderson says, Anderson's shouting. Anderson, you're shouting. I downloaded that code and made a few countdown timers as well. Have on running for the 30th of November. Our Independence Day started since January. Well, good for Anderson. So Anderson's counting down till November 30th, the Barbados Independence Day. I think we all ought to celebrate Barbados independence. What do you call Barbados Independence Day? Is there a name for it? Here in the U.S., we call our Independence Day the 4th of July because it's on the 4th of July. Actually, I think we call it Independence Day. Anyway. Oh, he apologizes for shouting. Well, it's too late. You already shouted at us now. You can't undo it. Android NDI. Yes, Android NDI. Why would you want Android NDI? Don't know. But if you're on the same network, you can pick up the video. I think maybe is it sending or John L, is it sending or receiving video that the NDI app will do? Mike says, Roku, you have to be streaming HLS and does not work with Flash. That's another reason not to use Flash. Rich says he'll celebrate Barbados independence. Yeah, indeed. National Baked Beans Day. Yeah, there are some baked beans. July 1st is Canada. Okay. And see, Barbados can do that in the winter because it's not winter for them. All right, it becomes an Android camera. There you go. It turns an Android device into a wireless NDI camera. Well, Blaze, just get here when you can. It's okay. We're having a great conversation after the fact. 12-second delay, says Chris. But which feed? Which feed? Do I want to, have I still got that link saved here? Yeah. Here's another feed you can try. That feed is a 2-second delay, but it won't work on your phone or your Roku. Sasha has given us the link to the details for the NDI camera from NewTek. That's going to be cool. Matthew is ready to get it. How much was it? John L., you spent $, $. All right, Chris says YouTube is 12 seconds. Good. Yeah, it's been running 11 to 14. Does it ebb and flow like the waves behind me? Denmark and Sweden don't have an Independence Day. We used to rule over others. I love it. So how much was the NDI app, John? Tell me. $19.99 US. There you go. Mike says, sorry, my delay number was before based on the 720p feed. Okay. And Giles says it's 14 pounds for the NewTek NDI Android app. That's probably, I mean, when you think about the situations where you could use a phone as a second camera. Oh, Gavin says it's now $17.99. It's going up. Anderson had no winter, just wet and dry. Been kind of dry lit in the Caribbean. Hey, count your blessings, because wet, you know, you don't always want what wet got it. All right, John got it in DKK, which I'm going to assume, since I am such an international idiot, is Danish dollars. Giles says it's quite cheap. Sasha says it's 21, is that euros? Which is very expensive. Yeah, so expensive that you had to make Port Martin go out into a field and broadcast internet there. Euro, okay, good. See, that's one thing that probably a lot of you guys just don't like about Americans is, you know, they're so ignorant of the rest of the world because to us, our country is almost like the rest of the world. I mean, where you have countries, Denmark and Sweden, or even even England, you know, we have Alabama and Tennessee and Texas, and you know, a lot of our states are larger than some countries. John L. says, but using a phone as a mobile camera during a sports arena is very, very interesting. Add a Rode lav mic and you can have some fun. Are you going to share a link? I want to see it. But yeah, you could do that with a lav mic. I mean, I wouldn't want to go around holding a camera like this the whole time. I guess you can get one of the poles to put it on. But all right, here we go, Rich. Speaking of that, Tom, I might have a live stream gig coming up, which we will stream 3 different streams with 3 different languages. Awesome, baby. Rich, were you here when we talked about using multiple instances of vMix on the same PC? Excuse me. Most of your states are bigger than England. Not population-wise, but in geography. I think, what's the English population now? 80 million? Some of Giles' overalls came from Bristol, Tennessee. I love it. Chris says $26.99 in New Zealand. Yes. Frank wants to know if all the refreshments are gone. Well, Blaze is the last one to show up, so he should have brought refreshments. I mean, anybody that shows up late knows that they may as well bring refreshments. I don't know if he brought more refreshments or not. but there are definitely some mixed nuts left. Yeah. I was going to say that before somebody else did. And I've got a little bit of lemonade left. And Giles drank all the beer. One video input and 3 outputs to YouTube with 3 different languages. So how are you going to stream that, Rich? Are you going to stream one video with 3 languages or 3 videos, each with its own language? It'd be cool if you could stream one video and then the audio separately, and people could pick which audio they wanted to listen to. It would save you 2/3 of bandwidth. John says he ate up all the refreshments. And Sasha says the Android app is internationally worth gold. Dave has the last of the chips. Rich says 1 video out to 3 vMix machines, each with their own sound. Okay. By video, you're talking about 1 camera or 1 video input coming from a switcher somewhere else? Guest, welcome guest. 1 second on 720p and YouTube is 10. That's because we're going downhill now. We're towards the end of the show. You pick up speed. John says, I need to make 2 different streams at the same time, each with 2 different languages. Rich, we need to talk. There you go. Rich says, and thought about that, but couldn't find a solution. Huh. Well, and when you're talking about going to 3 different vMix machines, you're talking about via NDI. I mean, I think what you're talking about, Rich, is having a production PC that handles all your production, but doesn't do anything with audio except maybe music or anything like that. And then that outputs via NDI to 3 other PCs on the same network that pick up that video feed, and they add the audio to it. So you're talking about whatever your production vMix would be, you know, the HD version or the 4K version, and then each of the 3 vMix machines would just need like vMix Basic HD, because you only need four inputs. One would be, well, you wouldn't even need 4. One would be your video, one would be your audio, and then you would stream it out. That would be bloody simple. All right. Brian says we have a full year celebration of our independence, so everyone is invited to Ireland before year's end. All right. Thank you, Brian. I've always wanted to go to Ireland. Brian's taking us all to Ireland. Hey. Rich says yes via NDI. Okay. Chris said stereo would allow 2 languages. Ooh. And they just pan to the right for English and pan to the left for French. I like it. Already switched video and graphics. Bingo. Got it. Rich is there. Rich is the man. If you guys don't know it, Rich is the man. Gavin says viewers would need to pan. Yeah, there you go. 1 master video output. Yes. Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Uh-oh. Jan, I was waiting for somebody to do this. Jan's going to cause trouble now. You can do it on 1 PC with multiple instances. First instance is video mixer, 2 or 3 instances get video from the first one via NDI and add their own audio. Yes, they do. And then you just have to have 3 ways of getting 3 unique audio streams into the PC. And I have that device right here on my desk. Let's see, can I show it to you? Is this it? No. Where is it? It is right here. Boom. This device right here. the Behringer UMC 404 HD. You can hook 4 audio into it, and each one comes out as a separate audio, which vMix recognizes as separate audio. And pow, there you go. And you don't even need, yeah, Martin's got it. And you wouldn't even need a mixer at that point. You know, if you needed to adjust the volume of one mic over another, you can do all that in vMix. You can do gain, you can do compression, you can do gate, you can do EQ. The question is, Jan, and the question is, could a PC do it? Could a PC? Oh, I want to do that. That is so much fun. Rich said he thought of that too, but the user experience would suck. It would be the same as what you're doing. I don't understand how it would be different. Matthew wants to know what the system load is. Yep. If you have any audio interface with ASIO, yep. And that's what the Behringer UMC 404 HD that Martin was talking about is. Yeah. It's 4 Martin, are they mono channels or stereo channels? I think they're 4 mono channels. And vMix has the ability, I mean, normally when you plug a microphone in, like my Behringer X1204 USB that's plugged in, obviously via USB, but is also plugged in via an output on the mixer to the line in on the PC. And you've just got, it's just a Windows audio. It's Windows audio. And vMix is only going to be able to take, well, I guess vMix will take as many audios as you can have. The question is just getting multiples of them in there. Yeah. I guess you could have 2 mixers connected, or 3 mixers connected, or three. You could have 3 mics connected if you were using like the. Well, I know you're probably using a headset, but like the Audio-Technica ATR 2100, 3 of these plugged in. Each one would be its own separate audio source. Yeah. John L., I was already planning multiple instances, but my challenge gets worse. There are 2 arena activities at the same time. Oh, that was in the show, yeah. Each will have a complementary studio with cameras in 2 languages. The 2 arenas will share a common studio as well. That sounds like a nightmare. And Jan can have 32 inputs and 32 outputs via ASIO. Yeah, we've got a Behringer X32 at our church, and unfortunately, it's a complicated system, but it doesn't belong to the church. It belongs to a band, and the band lets us use it on Sundays. And the people that use it on Sundays know how to turn it on and know how to turn it off. And so I'm trying to get audio out of it for a stream, and they're no help. Anyway, I'd like to be able to get multiple outputs out of the board so that I can tweak them in vMix and make my own mix. That's going to be pretty. Mike says, how are you getting the video and audio feeds for this event with 3 audio feeds? Good question. And if you need portable, get rack mount style. Yes. John L. says, the X32 has motorized faders as well, activators. Except I don't think the X32 works as a MIDI device. But I can't tell you definitively on that one. Matthew says there is a USB interface for audio 32 in out. Yes. Oh, Mike, you are such a an optimist. You need an aux out of the board, Tom, so ask them for your own mix, monitor mix. They should know what that means. No, literally, Mike. They know how to turn it on and they know how to turn it off. I mentioned to one of them a while back that so-and-so's microphone was a little strong, and they said, sorry, they didn't know how to adjust it. If you can't adjust a microphone, maybe they were just being stubborn. I don't know. I mean, what I did was I connected an XLR to the board as an output, and set it up in the programming to send the main. Is it a dry mix? I don't remember. I'll have to check. I don't remember if it was pre or post fader mix to the output. And then I had to label it because somebody kept taking it apart and plugging my cable into the wrong output. Oh, Peter, on the X32 you can only use the 8 faders on the right side with MIDI. It can work as MIDI on 8 channel. How about that? Darn. The X32 is a MIDI device. Thank you, Freedom Sound. That's what I get for playing in the deep end of the pool. It has a special button for MIDI control mode. Interesting. I think Studio Tech did some X32 videos. I think they did too, Gavin. It's been a while since I've seen anything from Studio Tech. What happened to those guys? I know they're still around. Matthew says he has 2 X32s connected via an AES 50, one for the house mix and the other for the live stream mix. I love it. I love it. That's cool. That's the way to do it. Yes, it is. How are we doing? Who might have shown up since I wasn't looking? That didn't just jump in and introduce themselves. Henri is here. Welcome. Didn't see you show up. Glad to have you. Yep, I guess that's about it. Everybody else has sort of chimed in on their own. Great discussion. Great discussion. Rich, I think you need to test doing the whole production in 3 languages on one PC. Man, that would be awesome. That would be very, very awesome. What? You say test it now, Tom? Like, I don't know. Oh, listen to Chris. A very interesting after show for a change. Oh, goodness. Chris, we're going to ban you. Oh, just teasing. Well, Rich, what you need to do is to get a cameraman to come along with you and take a bunch of B-roll so that you can put a video together on what it is you do. That would be so awesome. Sasha says, what are good options for interactions with the viewers besides chat? Well, I guess you could do video, a la Google Hangouts. Like, what was it? Blab that worked for a while. That was kind of a super interaction kind of thing where you could take a chair and then leave a chair. All right, Rich says it's the Thailand jet ski race. They want to do 3 or more languages. And Chris says, no, don't ban me. I'll behave. Yeah, we've heard that from others. You don't see them around anymore. Jan says that you can get audio via the Dante virtual sound card from some audio devices like Shure ULX-D. Yes, you can. I think the Dante, doesn't the Dante virtual sound card just do ASIO? I'm working with a client right now that's got that has that set up, the Dante virtual sound card, and they've got a wonderful audio production setup, and so they're just plugging that goes out over their network, and so they've just picking it up over the Ethernet for the Dante and bringing that into vMix. All right, Matthew says social media, show images from Twitter. I think that's in response to me saying Rich needs a camera guy. Mike says, so the 3-language event SDI could be your friend because SDI signal may contain up to 16 audio channels, 8 pairs. Not sure if that helps. Audio channels embedded. Or you send it over the network, NDI. That's the whole. I mean, I think that's what Andrew Cross was thinking is that we can use a network for all the transport and get rid of all the cables except a network cable. All right, Dave. Appreciate you, man. I got to get you guys out of this cable thing. Forget about cables. Forget about cables. Forget about buggy whips. It's not about buggy whips. It's not about faster horses. It's about automobiles. Come on. Jump into the 20th century. How come your picture is way better now over YouTube than a half an hour ago? Chris, it's because I'm getting better looking by the minute. No, probably what happened is your internet feed stabilized or got better somewhere between me and you, and YouTube will monitor your speed and adjust the quality to fit. Either that or, you've been out with Giles at one of the pubs. All right, I misunderstood what Matthew said before. Good idea, Matthew. How about the viewers are able to direct their own show, like camera selection? Yeah, you can do that in YouTube now. Sort of. I think you can send multiple cameras and people can select the one they want to watch. All right, Mike did it years ago. Well, there's a clue right there. He's using old technology. Does NDI do multi-channel? Yes. Limited only by your bandwidth. Chris says, oh, there it goes back the way it was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, guys, we're going to have to wrap this up because I got to go back to my real job. I've got, what have I got to do the rest of the day? I know you guys are not interested. Oh, I got an incoming call from Payday Loans. I'm going to call that one back right away. I've got to finish my warranty note to a client. They want to open the box I'm building for them. And so I'm notifying them in writing that they can do that as long as they contact me first and tell me what they're going to do. Otherwise, don't mess around inside my box. And I need to call Bob. And I need to call the cable company. And Peter says NDI does 8 channels of audio. Peter, I thought it would do unlimited. But thank you for clarifying on that. All right, Sasha says good night. It's 11 o'clock there. I haven't heard much from Prashana. He's probably fallen asleep because it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning there. Martin S., the weather is absolutely bloody hot. It's about 85 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. We haven't had rain in 2 weeks. But thank you. We're loving it. How about you? Yes, Gavin. Thanks all. Glad to have you. Appreciate you being here and adding to to the chat. So I'm going to leave the stream going so that you guys get the buffer, which should only be 10 or 12 seconds. Although if your internet hiccuped somewhere along the way, you may be behind. You could be behind 30 or 40 seconds and just not know it. Chris says, Tom, did you log into Video Hub website? I'm trying to remember, Chris. I don't know that I did. Thank you, Rich. Rich, look for an email from me. Matthew says, bye now. He's got to test out the NDI camera app. All right. Peter says it's 8 channels per video stream. Ah, yes. But you can send other channels of audio separately, I think. Foggy start, cleared up a bit, then nice finish. All right, good dear. Gray and miserable in the Southwest. Free stream last Saturday. Got it. Take care, guys. Indeed, Merle, y'all take care. Merle, have you heard anything from George Price? Is he doing okay? All right, we'll bring this up and we'll give you a little vMix music.